we're going to go now. My pleasure to go to, well, he's our host here at 1717 Pennsylvania Avenue Strategies, and the chief principal of their public relations firm, Barry Bennett, been on my show many times. Barry was the campaign manager for the Ben Carson campaign. Remember, Ben Carson ahead in the polls in, I think it was October or November. Barry Bennett also then joined the Trump campaign, and he was there until the Paul Manafort massacre, when, again, there was upheaval there and all the good people got carved out, including Barry Bennett, who is with us now. And I'm one office down from him, so I get to peek in and see his four-corner office. Hey, Barry, good to have you with us, man.
Hey, thanks, John. Welcome to the Washington Embassy of the Resistance to the Resistance.
You know what? That's basically what it is when you come up here. We are the resistance to the resistance. I love the way you put that. Before we get into politics, okay, we understand today, big day in the Barry Bennett household, your daughter graduating from elementary school, right? Fifth grade?
Fifth grade graduation here in about an hour.
I know, and then she goes on to middle school, right? So that's a big deal.
Well, we're trying to decide whether she goes to middle school or right to the nunnery. I don't know. I'm leaning towards the nunnery, but we'll find out.
Do the nunnery. Our older two kids we sent to public school, they're a little bit older, but now we send our youngest one, Joseph, to Catholic school because things are a little bit different now than they were. Since our older kids were younger, many of the public schools told God to take a hike. So we're trying to figure that one out.
Well,
we're
blessed here in Alexandria, Virginia, where the school just hired a climatologist. So we've got that going for us.
Ah, you got that good in Alexandria. Good deal. All right, Barry. Hey, basically, because you're in Alexandria, let me just throw you a curveball here. You live in Virginia. Can Ed Gillespie win this race?
Any Republican can win this race. I mean, the key to winning in Virginia is letting the progressives define themselves, because what they believe, very few outside of the Communist Party in Northern Virginia, Democrats believe in this state. There were progressives out yesterday calling for the banning of all Christian schools. Virginians don't necessarily think that we need transgender bathrooms. All these things that they believe in are horribly unpopular in states like Virginia. So we should let them, and we should probably help them define themselves to voters in Virginia.
Barry, let's get to the Georgia election yesterday. At the office here, we did do predictor pool. I don't know if you were involved in that. I think I did win. I'm not sure what I was pretty close on it. So we'll see if I won the pool when everybody gets into the office today. But the Karen Handel victory, I mean, the Democrats poured $30 million in this thing for a 29-year-old that never had a job, basically in a district that Tom Price was carrying with 60%. Is this an epic fail or what?
Absolutely. I mean, okay, so the most expensive Senate race in U.S. history was the Tillis race down in North Carolina. So they spent $110 million, which equated to $16.25 per vote. This little Johnny Ossoff down in Georgia spent $260 per vote. And it was historic, an historic waste of money. And how did he do? He underperformed Hillary Clinton in the district. Yeah, good. I mean, I hope that the people who worked in this campaign spread out across the country and work on all the other Democrat campaigns, because obviously they have no idea what they're doing.
You know what? I never thought of that, Barry. You're right. He did underperform Hillary Clinton because Handel got, I think, she won 52-48. Trump carried it 50.5 to 49.5. So Trump carried the district by 1. So they underperformed Hillary, and they spent $260 per vote. And I don't know if you were watching this yesterday, but I was watching CNN until I went to bed. And the change in the narrative just on the CNN liberals from 7:30, they were all excited. This was going to be the end of the Trump presidency. He was going to resign. It was going to be the biggest upset ever. The Democrats were going to win the House. They were going to win everything. It was over. Then as the night went on, it became evident Handel was going to win. They, on air, they just changed their narrative. Well, it doesn't matter. He wasn't a good candidate. It was a Republican district anyway. The fact that he got 48% was, that's really the signal here. I mean, these
You know,
people are ridiculous, aren't they?
oh, absolutely. I mean, well, one, I feel bad for them because they were so sad last night on CNN.
I know they were so
But, you
sad.
know, this comparison to, well, Tom Price won huge and, and Handel only won by 5 points. Well, yes, but can you name who ran against Tom Price 2 years ago? No, neither can anybody else because there wasn't a campaign. So, yeah, if Karen Handel didn't have an opponent, she would have won by 20 points. But that just wasn't the case. They spent $30 million, which they're not getting back, which, in a normal year could have probably helped them push 5 or 10 congressional districts across the line. Instead, they wasted it. Good job. Congratulations. Here's your participation ribbon.
Should participate. I mean, $260 per vote, and they underperformed Hillary Clinton. Look, is this now going to be end of this false Democratic narrative about Trump's going to resign, they're going to lose the House? I mean, look, we had 4 of these seats. The Republicans won in Topeka. They won in Montana. They won this Georgia seat. Of course, they also won a seat easily yesterday in South Carolina. Does this kind of put an end to this absurd narrative that the sky is falling on Trump, Barry?
Well, I think that they're blinded by rage and anger, so they're not thinking clearly. And I think that, we can use that to our advantage. But, I mean, I hope that, if we only had 2 or 3 more open seats, we could bankrupt them, which would be awesome.
Exactly.
So, I don't think they'll go away. I mean, the liberals they've lost their minds. This is, Russia, which is just absurd. I mean, as you mentioned, I was involved in the campaign, and the campaign was incredibly small. I mean, we barely could collude with ourselves, let alone with Russia. I mean, it's just laughable. But anyway, it'll all come out in the end. Sooner or later, they're going to run out of accusations.
Barry, there's a lot of hand-wringing now over what is going on with the White House staff. Sean Spicer holding his first presser in 8 days on air yesterday. He's off to Iowa today. There's imminent reports of a shakeup. But look, Barry, every time I come up here, I get somebody comes to me or has a cup of coffee with me and tells me how they were a Trump loyalist and just been screwed, can't get a job, got pushed out, got kicked out. I mean, I just heard the Jeff Witt story the other day. I'll go over that with you later on. It's shameful what they did to him. First statewide office holder in America to back Trump. I mean, how long is he going to stay with these people in the White House staff before he finally says, you know what, I need to bring some people in that have my back? How long will he stay with it, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I hope we're reaching critical mass to where, people who actually love the president, supported the president, worked their butts off for the president, are valued more than, some of the folks who, literally were going around the Friday before the election telling people that, Trump was going to lose, but it wasn't their fault. It's been strange. I'll give, he's the president and I will follow him. But I wish that it were another way, and I hope that change comes soon.
Look, Priebus has surrounded himself with an army of leakers and people that have his back. They're at every meeting. I don't think you could just take a couple of people out. Here's an example, right? He brings Katie Hughes in as deputy to the chief of staff from the RNC. She was a finance chairman there. A never-Trumper from her core, terrible to work with. She comes in. She's identified as a leaker. They have to get rid of her. They park her over at the Political Action Committee. She's in the White House every day. I mean, that was just a facade. I don't think he's going to get anything done if he doesn't make a change at the top. And I'm not sure the president, either he doesn't see it or he's not willing to do it. But the people that should be in there, Barry Bennett, Corey Lewandowski, people like that, I don't see until he makes change at the chief of staff level, Barry, I don't see how he's ever going to change what is going on in there in the West Wing. Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm afraid that you're not wrong, but I think that, as a chief of staff, you have to be willing to say, Mr. President, that is not a good idea, and if you do that, then, I think it would be best served for me to resign and move on. No one seems to ever get there in this White House. They know that he doesn't take their advice seriously, yet they just hang on for the perks, the privileges, and the power. And that is not a reason to serve in this White House or any White House. So if you disagree with the president fundamentally, instead of trashing him, put your badge on your desk and walk out the building. You don't need to be there. No one's holding a gun to your head to work there. If you don't like the president, then get out.
Barry, if the president called you up now, and I know you do talk to him often, and said, look, Barry, I got to get this agenda done. I don't really feel that we're going any place here. What should I do? Give me the 2 chess moves I can make. What would be Barry Bennett's advice to the president of the United States?
Stop letting congressional leaders make this more complicated than it needs to be. Right? Healthcare. Eliminate the mandates, and the thing will just collapse on its own. Tax reform. The most important thing to making this economy go is a long-term, permanent, competitive reduction in the rate of business taxes. If you reduce that to 25, 24, 23%, this economy is going to roar. His reelection chances, I think, are largely dependent on where the economy is. So it's the most important thing. But instead, everybody up there has their own plan of thousands of pages that they want to use and use his name or attached to it. Well, that's not where he is. These very simple things can be done very fast to really get his agenda moving and get the economy going.
All right, and even you look at his tax reform bill, and I asked this question yesterday in the press briefing, who is carrying the bill? You know what the answer is? No one. No one is even carrying the president's bill. It's all of a sudden it's Paul Ryan's bill. And to your point, what you just said, the whole thing is getting overcomplicated. And again, part of it is the people he's got in there driving this and advising him. Hey, I'm out of time for this segment. I want to thank Barry Bennett for being with us. Barry, the principal at Avenue Strategies. More information, go to avenuestrategies.com, avenuestrategies.com. Tailored strategy and guidance for all your business and political needs, avenuestrategies.com.